It's all about the you. It's all about the you. It's all about the you. You say it. It's all about the you. It's all about the you. It's all about the you. You say it.
It's all about the you. It's all about the you. It's all about the you.
When I say Miami, you say you Miami. You Miami. You Miami. You. When I say Miami, you say you Miami. You Miami. You. Now bring it on down to the Hurricane Zone.
Nice game.
What is up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning into the Miami postgame show here on the Voice of College Football. What a great game. I guess kind of great. We won, so I guess we're doing good. What do you guys think about it, Alex, Slim? I guess we got the gang back together here, so we're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, This was the best case scenario for everyone heading into the bye. You know, people said worst case was 3-1, best case 4-0, and you know we got it done. Played another inferior opponent, and once again just took care of business and did what we were supposed to, even after a sloppy first half. But whatever.
Yeah, that actually it brings me back to something. And sorry, not sorry, Mark. But you know, I did hear that. Well, you know, Ohio State had a whole lot of trouble because it was windy, and you know they couldn't throw the ball around. Tyler Van Dyke didn't seem to have too much trouble with it.
No, he did pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have to do much. He only finished with 220 yards, but he still had 3 touchdowns and 17 of 24.
Let's see. I'm pulling up the stats right now, too.
Yeah, run game was good again. 323 yards on the ground. Henry Parrish had himself an afternoon before he got taken out with an apparent shoulder injury. He finished with 16 for 139 and 2 touchdowns.
Best case scenario there, he just dislocated his shoulder, and it's going to be sore for a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, the one that really scared me was when Matt Lee went down on that same drive.
Yeah, like 2 plays earlier, yeah.
Yeah, but the good news is he walked away under his own power.
Yeah.
But even then, that doesn't necessarily mean everything's all right, because just from my own small experience, like I fractured my ankle and I was able to walk on it in the beginning just based off of adrenaline and everything like that. So definitely going to have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, I sprained my ankle one time and I didn't notice it until the next morning, but that's for other reasons.
I'm good. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
I had plenty of painkillers.
So I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the stats from this, and so it says right here that stadium was 25% filled. I'm calling a total BS on that because I think there were
6 people there.
Yeah, there was more people on the field than there were in the stands. And I think the easiest job anybody could have right now is being the janitor there. You don't have to do anything.
Well, I mean, can you really blame them? I mean, it was a guaranteed L, and then it had been storming. It was raining off and on. It was still windy as crap.
Yeah, and
I might sit at home for that too, to be honest with you.
Right.
Even then, it's also Temple. This isn't some major power in college football.
But they sure did talk a lot of smack leading up to it. Did you see like those articles that they were writing and like even like quoting Coach Coop in it and stuff?
I saw that.
Yeah. Did you not see that? Even Temple's coach was talking smack. They were like, they said it on the broadcast where he was like, you know, Tyler Van Dyke, we're gonna have to force him to make some plays today. He's really just been a game manager all season. And it's
really?
like, yeah.
And how about that lightning fast run from Tyler Van Dyke? I mean, that was when he broke off there and got what, about 20 yards, 25 yard run?
Picked up like 40.
Was it at 40?
Yeah, he picked up like 40 yards on that run, 35, 40 yards.
Yeah. 37.
37. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah, that
even
was
checked the camera because the camera was focusing on the running back and then it just shot back up.
No, even the announcers were like talking about Michael Vick. You know, they were like messing with him. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw some Michael Vickness there. Now, probably throws the ball around a little bit better. Just a wee bit.
Yeah, it was a as expected game, I think. I mean, we got 543 total yards there on offense. So I mean, you can't really complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what I like about this shows, once again, Shannon Dawson's just willing to give or take what the defense will give him. If you're going to give him open lanes to run through all day, that's what he's going to do. If you're going to shut down the run and make him throw the ball around, that's what he's going to do. Much more balanced. He's shown he's willing to be much more balanced than I thought he would. And my personal preference, I like a balanced offense like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to quickly move over to the defense because this was something everyone was talking about with the first half where, we did great against the run today. For like 95% of the game, they were held to 2 or even 1 rushing yard for the game. And then they ended up finishing with 11, but I feel like we just gave up too many big plays in the pass game. And I don't feel like it's like a lack of talent or that our pass defense isn't good because, we were able to do good against A&M. I just feel like it was more of a lack of focus thing and not really it's sort of just like kind of walking through the game in that sort of part of the team.
Yeah, I would agree. Like there was that one time they totally burned us, and thank God the quarterback, overthrew the ball there into the end zone. But I mean, that to me was like that one defender, was just slacking off. He wasn't, paying attention.
Or the first big play they got where Corey Couch tried to like jump on a pick, but he jumped like way too early and it turned into like a 35-yard gain. Whatever.
Yeah, I saw that. There were a couple of times where it seems like they're either trying to jump the route and get the pick, or they're trying to go for a highlight play. And unfortunately, if you don't get it, they can bust something on you. And you can't have that. You can get away with that against Temple. You're not going to get away with that against North Carolina. You're not going to get away with that against Florida State or Clemson. Or I can't even believe I'm saying this. Louisville. Is Louisville the best team in the conference, by the way?
That's good.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, Florida State, they beat BC by 2 points, and Louisville goes out there and handles Boston College, frankly, like a redheaded stepchild that owed them money.
Yeah, but it's Boston College. Like I know FSU had trouble with them, and we laughed at them for that. But look, Boston College is genuinely one of the worst teams in college football this year. I mean, they went down to the wire against an FCS school. They lost. They lost to a Group of 5 team in week 1. I don't even know who it was.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah, it just Louisville if you just look at Louisville, as Uncle Lou likes to say, who have they played?
I mean, you can't play but the schedule in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not ready to call them the best team in the conference. Like, I know you were probably tongue-in-cheek with that, but I know there's going to be – yeah, I know there was some – I'm not saying they're a bad team. Like, if you're 4-0 and you've played 1, 2, 3 Power 5 teams, you're not a bad team. Like, you're not. But, I mean, next week they'll have a little bit of a step up against NC State. And then a real step up in 2 weeks when they go to Notre Dame.
Did you see NC State? What was that, Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying – that's why I said a little bit of a step up. I don't think NC State is some world beat or anything this year, but they're significantly better than Boston College.
That's Dave Dorn doing Dave Dorn things. I mean, him and Dino Babers, they're almost like 2 peas in a pod. Every 3 or 4 years, they put a squad together that'll win, 8 or 9 games, maybe a 10th with a bowl game if they're lucky. And then they just turn right back around to struggling to make a bowl.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of those programs that are like that. I mean, Virginia, not now, but a few years ago with what's this coach's name, Mendenhall?
Oh yeah, Bronco Mendenhall. Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of what they were. 2019 they had the nice 8-4 season, had the privilege of getting blown out by Clemson in the ACC championship, made an Orange Bowl.
They had Bryce Perkins that year. That was a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I remember watching that game against FSU. FSU had them beat, and Kendall Briles just does not know when to slow down the tempo of the game. And Florida State went 3 and out in a hurry and gave Bryce Perkins the ball back and gave him a chance to win the game, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, we're already getting into our usual tirades here, Slim, about random games from 2019.
Well,
But
yeah.
Hey, I will have to say that it feels a lot better this year to be coming and doing this game than it was. I guess it was last year. It was Middle Tennessee was basically this show.
Also, fuck you, ESPN, for playing the clips before the game, being like, Miami had a group of 5 game last year before the bye week, and it was Middle Tennessee State.
Right.
And they're showing the 99-yard touchdown.
Didn't.
They did.
And I was like, and I'm sitting with my brother, and we were at that Middle Tennessee game, and they're showing the 99-yard touchdown. And my brother's like, I can't believe they're replaying this shit. Or whatever.
Yeah, so this feels a lot better this time to be coming in here, and at least we won. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember the last time we were 4-0. I know the last time we were 3-0 was 2020, but then we turned around and got smacked by Clemson. So would it be 2017 the last time we were 4-0?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's hard to imagine that Clemson here. They're starting out they're
2-2.
2-2 now. Yeah, with 2 conference losses already. So they're pretty much out now.
Yeah, they're out of it in terms of the ACC title. They're done.
Yeah, I mean,
they can play spoiler because Clemson's not a bad football team.
No.
Questionable decision making on that team, but
Dude, 100%. That loss is on Dabo Swinney trying to micromanage the offense. And I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of their DC's name right off the top of my head. But for like half that game, he decided to just rush 3. And I'm like, what are you doing? Travis Hunter obviously came into the game hurt.
Jordan Travis, you mean?
Jordan Travis obviously came into the game hurt. Did not have a great game by any stretch of the imagination. Wasn't terrible, but he didn't have a great game.
Yeah.
And then when they got that sack fumble, they let Florida State pin their ears back and come at them at that point. They let them ride that momentum wave.
He made sort of the same mistake that Manny made against Virginia in 2021, which people were already turned on him. And this is when they really, really turned on him. Because if you remember in the Virginia game, we're driving down the field and the score's tied at 28. And no, it's not tied at 28. We're down 2. We're down like 30-28, something like that. And we're driving down the field. And Manny, within these last 2 minutes, just starts to play it super conservative instead of.
Yeah, well, he was setting it up for the walk-off field goal.
Yeah, but I get doing that if you get the ball back with 45 seconds. But if you've got the ball with 4 minutes, go for the end zone. I mean, don't take an unnecessary risk. Go for the end zone. And that's what Clemson was doing.
They did. They absolutely.
They were trying to set it up for the walk-off field goal, and then what happens? Then Garrett Riley or maybe Dabo, who knows, calls that stupid rollout to the right, and it's incomplete. The clock stops. You give FSU some momentum because they had him reeling. And if you go for the touchdown, that's really a gut punch, and you put a hurt Jordan Travis and a struggling FSU offense in a very tough position. But it's just weird to see a coach like Dabo, who's won 2 national championships, dominated the ACC for the better part of a decade, just sort of, I don't know, revert back to Clemsoning.
Well, I mean, how often do you see, especially in this day and age of football, that it just doesn't work anymore, that you got the lead, and you're trying to, run it out and work it down the field.
You get
It seems like
conservative,
it comes
you
back
die.
and bites them. Yeah.
Well,
it
you know,
comes
Dawson
back and
said
bites
it. You get conservative, you die.
Well, even the few times that you can get it to work. I mean, Clemson had to go pull some guy off of his couch to kick field goals because their kicking game had been so bad. Why are you going to try and rely on your kicking game that has not come through for you this season?
Yeah, and
them and Georgia both are struggling bad in the kicking department.
Yeah, and I even had a feeling watching that game. I was like, this is a bad idea. Go for the damn guts, man. Like this is a guy who was a walk-on and a backup for 4 years. And he hasn't kicked since last year. He just kicked this week. And it's like, oh, but he went 17 of 20 in warm-ups. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's warm-ups. But now you've got the pressure of the game on the line. And yeah, it was a 29-yard field goal. He still missed it.
Right.
He still missed it. A quote-unquote chip shot 29-yarder, and he still missed it. Why? Because it's not just about the distance. It's about the pressure, being in the right headspace. Kicking is a very mental thing.
Well, you know what? That and that's exactly what happened to Manny in
FSU knows all
2019.
about kickers.
You were talking about that. That's exactly what happened then.
Yeah, freshman Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm glad about is, like, I remember 2019, people weren't mad at Andy Borregales. They were mad at Manny. They were like, that's a freshman kicker. That's a tough spot to be in.
You're putting that kind of pressure on a true freshman.
And it's like you say a lot, Slim. He shouldn't have ended up in that situation. You don't want to end up in that situation to where all the pressure is there.
I'm not blaming the kicker. This guy was about to work a finance job in New York. he's not even supposed to be here.
Oh, that's funny. But both those teams, both Clemson and FSU, though, they both do look beatable.
Yes,
from
neither
end.
one of them. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody looks unbeatable this year. Nobody in the country looks unbeatable.
Yeah, I'm very happy about the parity we're seeing right now. It really feels like anyone within the top 10 and even extend a little bit into the top 15 can compete for the playoff. And then there's sort of a smaller group, but still a bigger group than years past that can compete for a national title. I mean, you've got Michigan, Notre Dame looks good, Ohio State. We'll see how that game goes tonight. I mean, Florida State has been shaky, but when they've been at their best, they look as good as anyone in the country. And it pains me to say that, but it's true.
Yeah, it don't pain me to say that. I want Florida State to be good. I say this all the time. We have to play them. I want them to be good. I want them to be highly ranked. That way, when we go in there and smack them in the mouth, nobody can then start saying, well, you just beat up on a bad Florida State team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like we were talking about last week, with everybody with Texas A&M before the game. It was Miami won't match up with talent to Texas A&M. There's no way now everybody's, Texas A&M sucks. You can't win. You can't win from losing.
So that's good for us.
Well, I got into this debate with a Florida State fan earlier today, as a matter of fact, and when Clemson was winning, he was like, "Well, Clemson's more talented than us, yada yada yada," but then turned around and said, "Well, Texas A&M is trash because they're not very good." I was like, "Yeah, but they're more talented too. They're not even close. We're not even close to Texas A&M as far as talent."
Yeah, they're the fourth most talented team in the country, I think.
And Clemson's fifth, right behind them.
Yeah, on paper,
Yeah,
that only goes so far.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've said this for years. Miami's been the most talented team in the Coastal on paper every year.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
for sure.
we should know a lot about not living up to the talent that's on your team.
Yeah, I mean, the talent showed up today, though.
They did.
Restrepo finally caught his first touchdown of the season after 3 monster games without a touchdown. He actually had 2.
Yeah, which is hard to believe.
He's a clutch player.
Yeah,
man. That guy's solid.
Me and Slim, people kept bringing this up, especially after week 1 against Bethune. Oh, Tyler only tries to go to Restrepo, and I said this last week the first game after Miami, Ohio, and I said this last week where it was, look, if I'm Matthew Stafford, my first read is always going to be Calvin Johnson. And you better bench me if I'm not looking towards Calvin Johnson first.
Right. Well,
and I'm not saying Restrepo's Calvin Johnson, but he's the most reliable receiver we have. Why wouldn't you look for him first?
Yeah, well, and there are design plays to go, hey, this is your first read, or hey, we're designing this to go up to this guy, and okay, yeah, you're not going to scan the field because that's what the play is designed to do. But what they were trying to say was Tyler stares down receivers, and no, when you see them just marching their way down the field, the opening drive against Bethune, he was 5 for 5 to 5 different receivers. I don't think you get that staring down receivers.
Yeah, and I just want to look at the stats for this season in terms of receptions real quick. Xavier Restrepo, 17 receptions. Colby Young, 15 receptions. Jacoby George, 16 receptions. His top 3 targets all within the same range.
Yeah, nobody ever made this accusation of say, well, you never heard anybody say, well, Tom Brady stares down Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski. No, but in a clutch situation, or if you're in the red zone and you're looking for a touchdown, you're going to look to your most reliable hands.
Yeah.
But now I have to do it because it's what I do. I look for things to fix against bad teams. Penalties. Y'all did great in the first half, but you more than doubled it in the second.
Mm-hmm. And that was still with starters in too. It's not like,
yeah,
we got backups in. No, the backups didn't come in until almost halfway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was in the fourth quarter when they came in.
Which I feel was an interesting decision, but one I kind of agree with because we didn't really play all too well in the first half. Even though we were up 24-7, I wouldn't call it a great first half, and I feel like Mario still wanted to keep those guys out there in sort of like a play of accountability. And I didn't mind it too much.
I also think that's probably got something to do with the fact they have a bye week next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good time for a bye week though, going into ACC play.
And then our first game is Georgia Tech.
I like it going into ACC play, but I kind of like those bye weeks with like 3 games left. It kind of gives you like you're barely getting broke in now, especially against the level of competition you played.
Yeah, it could go either way, but
if I had my way, I would have done it right smack in the middle of the season. After the 6th game, which would have been North Carolina.
Yeah, but now how does that work? Who actually decides the ACC? It's decided by the conference.
Remember, the NCAA has absolutely no power whatsoever. So
right.
But yeah, it's not a bad time to have a bye week either because our first game back is Georgia Tech, which, hey, no disrespect to Georgia Tech, but it's a game we should win. And I'm not saying Mario's going to be overlooking them because he's absolutely not. But it's not like we're going straight into Florida State.
Dude, that defense is bad for Georgia Tech. It is bad. It really is. And I get, if you listen to Georgia Tech fans talking, their offense is great. And compared to what it was under Jeff Collins and with Matt Sim or
They're up 14-3 on Wake Forest right now.
I'll give them credit. It's better, but it's better by Georgia Tech standards. I get a couple Georgia Tech fans, and I love you, Sea Dog. I do, and Rec Talk too. But trying to say, Haynes King is leading the conference in yards and touchdowns. Well, Haynes King is the only one to play 3 full games too. Nobody else had.
Yeah, got choked against Louisville and then got curb stomped by Ole Miss, which still can't win a big game.
Now, I'll give them credit for Ole Miss because I'm going to give myself credit too because I actually took Georgia Tech and the points there. And until about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I was celebrating because they were well within that spread. and then it got ugly with 5 minutes left in the game, and I got mad.
Yeah, like what Panama City Kane is saying here. Yeah, they did have quite a. They were bigger than I thought as well. I thought they would be as well too.
They were.
They seemed like they had a pretty good sized line there. On both sides of the ball, which kind of surprised me.
They still had some private Power 5 transfers. Like they had a former Kane and Alan Hay, who's their starting defensive tackle. They also mentioned like some other guys, I think, from Colorado and Colorado State, which I know Colorado State isn't Power 5, but.
Well, they said too. I heard like the announcers were saying during the game that I guess they'd only given up 1 sack all season so far before this game. So I mean, the line's pretty decent.
Yeah, they gave up more than 1 today.
Yeah, How many did they give up? Do you know?
They gave up. Last time I looked at it, it was 2, but there was still like half of the fourth quarter to go.
Let me see.
And I think they got one on that the backup quarterback after they put him in. So I think it would have been 3.
Yeah, 3. I'm seeing it right now. 3.
There you go. Yeah, so Kurt Warner's son can go back groceries at whatever grocery store Kurt Warner was at before.
He showed up to that first pick he threw. Jesus Christ. That first interception?
And God bless him. I'm already starting to hear some Miami fans, bring back the turnover chain. Don't do it.
Oh, Lord, please no.
Don't do it.
Please
Okay.
no.
Like that song, it was cool. Like you really just, when you're down 28-0 and you pull that thing out, you just killed it for me.
That was humiliating.
And it was Cam Kinchins too that put it on him. I still remember that.
And then I'm gonna be honest, like that song was catchy the first dozen times I heard it. It wore thin really quick.
Turnover chain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Turnover chain.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was really cool at first, when we were actually doing good, but then it just got really sad.
That's the thing. It was a fad. I mean, you looked at the first year with the turnover chain, we had like 32 turnovers or whatever, and then it went down to 28, and then
those numbers
17.
aren't sustainable.
No.
For anybody. I mean, nobody can do that year after year.
It was still a lot cooler than FSU's backpack, but
oh yeah, the purse, the man purse.
High fives on the sidelines are cooler than FSU's
Speaking, you know what? And actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Uncle Lou is actually the owner of that man purse now.
What?
Is he really? Or
well, I mean, he has quite a collection of man purses.
Yeah, he has got quite a few Merces. So.
Oh,
So after watching Colorado just get absolutely like curb stomped today, is it safe to say that maybe all these celebrities and our former players and stuff like that will stop wearing Colorado gear now, or is this just going to continue on?
Well, if what I read on Google is to be believed, Warren Sapp's going to be their D-line coach next year.
Ooh.
So, listen, I saw a lot of that. I mean, it makes sense Michael Irvin's showing up. Him and Deion were teammates for years.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why people are getting mad about that. Warren Sapp does what the hell Warren Sapp wants to do. If y'all ain't figured that out, that's a you problem.
Yeah, I'm just glad they got you just get tired of hearing about something over and over and over again.
Yeah,
the one that was really funny was Vince Wilfork when he showed up to practice earlier this week, and someone in the comments tagged him, and they were like, "At Vince Wilfork, will we ever see you in a Colorado t-shirt?" And he just simply replied, "Fuck no."
Well, he's got no connection to Deion. Like I said, Michael Irvin, I get. He's got a connection to Deion.
And I like Deion. I think he's hilarious. I like the guy.
Oh yeah. Like the
it was still
problem I
refreshing
had
to see them lose today, simply just for the media. That's it.
That was the problem with it I had, and especially like game day going to Boulder. It's like, stop it. And then it turns out to be a game. Y'all should have been ashamed of yourselves. They should, like everybody that thought Colorado was going to be terrible. The Colorado State game was the one everybody was penciling in, going, okay, that they're definitely going to win this game. And
you would have thought. I mean,
Colorado's still going to
close.
be terrible. Like, they're going to win 4, maybe 5 games, which is exactly where I had them preseason, by the way.
I had them at 3-9. They've already hit my win total for the year.
Well, and listen, they have to run through that Pac-12 gauntlet this year, and there are some good teams in the Pac-12 this year. Like, you think that's bad? Like, USC may literally throw 100 on them.
I saw someone say Caleb Williams is going to be able to file his taxes with all the time he's going to have back there. No, it was he's going to be able to shoot a Dr. Pepper commercial with all the time he's going to have back there.
I just to kind of bring it back to what we're talking about, shout out to Mario, because Tyler Van Dyke, like, I mean, he's had enough time to sit back there and make himself a sandwich and then throw the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think he was even pressured today. I don't think so.
I mean, can we just say how bad does Nick Saban wish he upped the bag on Tyler?
He's not the only one, though. Tyler said during the spring that he was contacted by multiple teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect that kind of stuff. I mean, the people that clutch their pearls and go, "Oh, this is against the rules." Teams have been breaking the rules forever. What makes you think that's fixing to stop?
This school was built on breaking the rules.
Right.
No, we're built on getting away with it. I mean, Miami is literally like the OJ of college football because
Careful,
they got us. Listen, they got us dead to rights so many times, and we just get away with it.
Yo, shout out to the NCAA for fumbling the Nevin Shapiro thing.
I mean, it is what it is. Well, where'd you think I was going with that? I ain't gonna go too bad. I love you, Mark. I wouldn't do that to you.
I do know one thing. OJ Simpson's Twitter page is a definite must follow if you're not.
Have you seen his TikTok?
I've heard that.
Funnier.
It's hilarious.
I have heard that.
He puts out all these things and, you know,
the
makes statements on other cases and stuff. It's like, oh, God, stop, dude.
Yeah, the funniest thing is when he weighs in on, like, athletes committing crime, and he's like, it's just shameful. And I'm like, aren't you?
And he doesn't, so he's always, like, sitting in a golf cart, you know, on some golf course.
Oh, OJ.
Well, Seagood may be right. Bama may. Well, no, because they're not even going to bother looking into Alabama. So you're not going to get the Bronco chase out of Alabama. You're not going to get the trial.
Isn't this the same team that didn't get a holding call for like 2 years?
Yes. Well, and like Cam like we were talking about this last week. You know,
Yep.
Cam pointed it out.
I'm bringing it up.
Nobody held Miami for like a year and a half, which
There was no holding calls today, and I saw about 6 of them just blatantly right in front of me. Which, whatever.
Yeah. There was one that stood out. I was like, how is that not holding? You know, and it's like,
yeah, there was one, an offensive lineman, basically just taking a DN down to the ground by his neck. I'm like, something? No? Okay, don't worry about it.
You can see the
It
ref
ended up
walking
mattering
around with
in
a
the
stick on the sideline.
Well, it like I said when we were talking about it before, just like Jimmy Johnson said, don't leave it in the ref's hands.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's the most, that like goes back to like we were talking about with the field goal at the end. You know, don't put yourself into that situation where you need that, and you know,
Yep.
you'll be a lot better off.
Yeah. Not to mention this shit. Just to go back to Clemson real quick. Why the hell would you call a wide receiver screen on 3rd and 1 with the game on the line?
When you have Maffa and Shipley in your backfield and you call a what?
Is that
Slim?
Slim?
I thought Pete was going to lose his damn mind. I
Is
was
that
there
almost as
watching
bad
Pete.
as Marshawn Lynch on the goal line during the Super Bowl? You need 1 yard.
And you have Maffa and Shipley in your backfield.
4th and 2 in overtime also. 4th and 2 in overtime. And you run some little bullshit like roll out route. What the hell are you doing?
I'll give Clemson all the credit. Their offense looks better than it's looked in 2 years. It absolutely has. Their defense still looks fine. Their defensive play calling, I have to question.
Secondary good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then Wiggins. I hope Wiggins is okay.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
I hated to see that. I hate to
He's
see
gonna carry it
anybody
off.
get hurt. I mean, I am a college football fan. I love Miami, but I am a college football fan. I like watching good players play,
Mm-hmm.
and Wiggins is a good player. So, and just being a decent human being, I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
No, you never want to see anybody get hurt. That's
No.
But yeah, as Stephen Law says, I would love to have a Shipley in our offense. We don't have one, but Clemson did. And with the game on the line, you throw a wide receiver screen on 3rd and 1.
yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh my God.
And you know, something I noticed in that game, and unless Dabo corrects it, it's going to cost them more games this year. Are you seeing, like, outside of some stuff here and there, I'm seeing a whole lot of crap that we saw last year and the year before. That tells me that there's a whole lot of Dabo fingerprints all over the offense. And he needs to let it go and let Garrett Riley do what he hired Garrett Riley to do.
If someone contributes a super chat, don't worry, I'll put it up on the screen. But for the meantime, we'll just leave this here.
Did you put that in there?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. No, maybe we had Mark in here trolling or something like that.
Oh, Mark will come in here and troll. Don't put it past him. Like, he comes across as the straight-laced
Mark was
stats
talking
guy.
shit about Bama last week, to be
Dude,
honest. in the chat.
Mark will get in there and troll folks with the best of them. He's got a good poker face about it.
Mark, I
And
don't
he
know if
tries to
you're
sneak
watching.
them in there.
I don't know if you're watching, but you'll probably catch this on the replay. I thought it was gold when he was just bitching on Twitter about the Golden Bachelor commercials.
Oh, I know, that was hilarious. Yeah, like who? What is the demographic they're like trying to go for? Like pumping that commercial out constantly.
Is it just slutty 50-year-old women? Because
I
I'm in, honestly, kind of.
Well, I mean, that falls right into Mark's wheelhouse as well. Sorry,
Oh,
Mark.
that's funny.
Oh, Slim's getting fired.
Maybe. Hey, you know what? There'd probably be a bunch of people in the comments section that'd be glad about that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we've got the bye week, and then we've got ACC play. Georgia Tech. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to watch this game against Wake Forest. Now, Wake Forest does not look the best, but when you lose a quarterback like Sam Hartman, you're going to see it. You're going to notice it.
Yeah.
But I think this game is going to tell me a lot about Georgia Tech, and I think it'll be. I'm going to be looking at the defense in that game when we play Georgia Tech, because, like you said, they did good against the run, but there were some things going on in the secondary.
You mean Clemson?
No, us.
Oh.
There were some things going on.
Yeah, we got burned a few times.
Yeah.
Again, I think that was a lack of focus thing because.
Well, it's like they couldn't run somebody down either, and I'm like, what are you doing?
But then again, wait, what field? Like this also did happen a lot of times, like because I don't want to just rag on these guys. It was a wet field, and there was a bunch of plays where guys were kind of just slipping and sliding all over the place when trying to make the tackle or get turned around, which still, like, the wet field is not the reason why we gave up like 3 or 4 big plays against goddamn Temple. But like in terms of some of the stuff with like chasing a guy down, or like there was literally one play where Jaden Davis gave up a completion, and it's because he was playing the route right, but as he was trying to keep in with the receiver on the breaking of the route, he slips.
And that kind of stuff happens. I'm not going to eat your lunch over that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and like we said too, that like that first one where we got burned really bad, and I guess it was Couch, I guess, and he obviously wanted that interception, and he kind of committed to the interception and then realized, holy crap, I'm a step behind where I need to be, and by that point he was burned, and I think that.
Yeah. I mean, going to Couch again. Look, dude, if it's 4th down, it's great that you have a shot at a pick. Just bat the ball down.
Yeah.
Just bat the ball down. Because now you put our offense, you put our offense 20 yards back. We could have started on like I think their 28-yard line or whatever. Now we're on our own 45 or 38, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's not smart football. And Couch has been there long enough. He knows better than that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell somebody not to get an interception, you know. When you're sitting there and it's thrown right into your hands, you're like,
Yeah,
I kind of look at upperclassmen almost in the same light. I expect them to make plays and react like an NFL player would. NFL player is going to bat that down because of the reason Alex just said. Give your offense better field position.
Yeah. Now, Terry, I just have a rebuttal to this real quick. If you remember the Super Bowl this year, there was a Chiefs player had a wide open lane on a running play for a touchdown near the end of the game. What did he do? He slid. There was no one around him, and he slid. Why? Because he made the unselfish play to then run the clock out so they could kick the game-winning field goal, right? Because if not, Philadelphia, yeah, they're up 7, but they get the ball back and maybe they can go and score. Couch would still be playing the ball, but here he bats the ball down and we get the ball in better field position. That's it. Which, whatever, against Temple, it's not as big of a deal.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, Terry. It's heads up football.
It's just about being unselfish and for the better of the team. And I don't know if you heard me. It's near the end of the game. Why would he slide in the third quarter? I mean, all right, whatever. I'm done having this discussion then.
Yeah, like I said, we're just talking about heads up football. Bat the ball down, give your offense the ball at the 28 instead of getting the pick and putting your offense at the 45 when it's 4th down anyway. All you have to do is bat the ball down and your offense has the ball either way.
What's up, Workforce Freebie? Good to see you, man.
I mean, yeah, like I said just now, like, you know, it's whatever against Temple.
But that's exactly – but and this is a point I brought up last week. This is exactly the kind of stuff that – because you know they're going to blow out Temple. You know they're going to blow out Bethune-Cookman. This is what you do in these situations is clean up that kind of stuff. You nitpick things.
Yeah, it's not being an asshole. This is what you're supposed to do. You blow someone out. It's a close game. You win by 1. You lose. It doesn't matter. There's still stuff you can improve on.
I mean, cause it exactly to the point, and I'll repeat it because we already made this point. I know there's some people that are just coming in. You can get away with this kind of stuff against Temple, and it's not going to cost you a game. You do stuff like that against North Carolina, and they can make you pay. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why we're focusing on the secondary and those big plays, because Drake May can absolutely make any team in the country pay.
Yeah. And then Steven, there was some missed tackling today. But then again, also, like I said earlier, some of that can be attributed to the field conditions. And it was raining. It wasn't raining as much during the game, but it rained a lot during the day. And then there also was some rain in spots. So so
everybody's going to be nice and slick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, that's one of the things, field conditions. I'm not going to eat your lunch over a couple of missed tackles. Tackling's been pretty sure this year, so and this is a situation where I can let it go.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying here, Panama City, Kane, where it's like people are going to see the stat and it's like, wow, he got 2 picks. But you don't care about what the media says. You care about making the right play. And then also your coach is going to recognize that you made the smart football play.
Yeah, exactly. And scouts do look at film, and they look at stuff like that. You know, okay, unselfish play. You didn't go for the pick. You batted it down. You put your offense in a better field position. Scouts look at film.
Because look, if he maybe had a shot at like a pick 6, then you know what, maybe go for it in that sense if you have like an open field in front of you. But he didn't. He's all the way down the field, and he's falling towards the sideline. Just bat the ball down.
Yeah, and we went over injuries earlier as well. And it was a good sign that Matt Lee got up and walked off the field. Actually, he trotted off the field under his own power. So
and Henry Parrish jogged off, so that was good to see.
Yeah, it was Now, luckily, obviously, what you worry about with a running back is a knee injury, but it looked like his arm or his shoulder.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, we did get some guys back today. We're still missing Cam, and I've heard some people worried about that. But
they
look,
didn't need
that's you didn't need him, man. And you've got the bye week coming up. I get bringing in someone like Mesidor, not Mesidor. Mesidor didn't play today, but Mark Fletcher, who's a freshman and can use the reps. Nigel Lee Kelly, who's a sophomore. He's just starting this year. He could use the reps. Cam's an All-American. Cam had 6 interceptions last year. Cam has been playing great this year, and you're going to need him for ACC play to fulfill the goals you want to fulfill. And why would you rush him back with a bye coming up against freaking Temple? Like, just
Yeah, and I won't even be mad if he gets limited snaps against Georgia Tech. Just get him back into the groove against Georgia Tech.
yeah, because Jaden
Because
Harris
that's-
hasn't been playing bad. Like, he hasn't messed up. Considering the backup safety, considering it's Bethune Cookman and Temple, but like he hasn't been like atrocious back there or anything.
AJ Allen came in late in the game, didn't he?
No,
I
that
could've
was Mark
swore that
Fletcher.
Was that Mark Fletcher? Okay.
Yeah.
AJ Allen, I don't think he played today.
Okay.
Let me
Well,
see.
I mean,
Yeah, he didn't.
this
He didn't get a carry today.
this isn't Bethune. They're not going to get everybody on the sideline in the game.
This is actually a good question. Do you guys think we see Zion at all this year after seeing Jalen and Samson? Well, Francis is the one starting on the other side, so I think they mean Jalen and Francis Maui Noah. Which, yeah, I mean, Zion has been injured for what, like 2 years now?
Something like that.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see, because the offensive line is one of those position groups where it's all, where it's all like not all, but like really about chemistry. And if you kind of start like messing with that halfway through the season, you could get some bad results.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Zion this year, if he just redshirts this year and plays next year.
Yeah.
I see Stephen Law says we're not beating FSU or Clemson. I think both those games are winnable. I'm not. I wouldn't put any money on either one of them.
Listen,
to
we've
win.
seen 6 and
No one
6
thought we'd
Miami
beat Texas
teams.
A&M.
We've seen 6 and 6 Miami teams take Jameis Winston-led playoff-bound Florida State teams down to the wire. So why can't we beat Florida State? Why
Yeah, I mean,
can't
an
we beat
FSU
Clemson?
versus Miami is no matter what. I mean, it's a big rivalry. It always goes one way. You could flip a
Dude,
coin
you
most
can-
of the time
you
to see
can
who wins.
Throw the stats out the window when it comes to a rivalry game like that. And that's mostly every rivalry. Texas, Oklahoma, it's not just Miami, Florida State. Texas, Oklahoma, same way. Georgia, Georgia Tech, a lot of times, same way.
Yeah, and I mean, just another example, Auburn, Alabama in 2021. Alabama was in the national championship game, and Hugh Freeze took them down to the wire with Bryce Young and Jamison Williams and what's the other dude, the edge rusher?
No,
Will
Hugh Freeze
Anderson.
wasn't that.
It wasn't Hugh Freeze.
there.
It was Brian Harsin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it now, granted, they play every year, but, I mean, Auburn, Alabama, Gus Malzahn's got the best winning percentage against Nick Saban.
Yep. I mean, it's just not to mention, it's not like this is last year's team where halfway through the game we've got Jakari Brown, a true freshman third string quarterback, playing, and we're injured up and down the roster. It's just. And
Well,
then
I'm not
Clemson.
saying-
Clemson is. We get them at home. It's not like we have to travel to Death Valley this year, and they don't look invincible. This isn't it. This isn't that 58-0 Clemson team with Deshaun Watson and all those receivers.
No, and the team we have is not the same team as last year either, which is really, really nice. Nice
This is
feeling.
the Tyler Van Dyke we expected to see, but because of wide receivers dropping balls, all the injuries all over the place, problems with what Josh Gaddis was trying to run, just a combination of everything. We didn't get to see it last year. We're seeing it this year.
I don't know what game you saw, Steven, because I saw two teams with a lot of holes.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest with you, Florida State has looked kind of suspect for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have a top 5 ranked Florida State against an unranked Clemson. Why was that even a ball game?
Yeah, and then not even just that, but you take Clemson and their sort of conservative play down the stretch, and a guy with a proven and admitted mindset of go for the kill, end this fucking thing right here.
Well, what is FSU? What do they have? Like the 101st ranked defense in the country or something like that?
And total defense.
Total defense.
Stephen Law, I don't know what game you were watching, but FSU did not dominate that game by no stretch of the imagination.
They didn't lead until they won.
Literally. They never led at any point in that game until they won.
Yeah, exactly. Clemson had to lead the whole game until right there at the end. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I think even the announcers were saying it during the game, during the Clemson FSU game. The ACC is wide open this year.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't mean it in terms of the championship, like who's going to win it, because, everyone's already crowned FSU as the champion. But guess what? There's a reason we play the games, because everyone last year thought it was going to be Clemson, Miami in the ACC championship. And, could Miami only have one loss? Could there be a playoff berth on the line here? Could Miami really win the ACC? Like, we're not stupid here. We all remember those like little narratives we were all having in the offseason, and we went 5-7. There's a reason why you play the game.
Right.
I mean, who thought Clemson was going to lose to Duke? Who thought Clemson was going to be 2-2? I had them at 4-0 up to this point. I had them beating FSU. I had them beating Duke. I had FSU losing to LSU. I thought the roles were going to be reversed in this situation, where FSU was going to be 500 right now, and Clemson was going to be 4-0 and a top 5 team in the country. But that's why you play the game.
Like reading some of these comments. Yeah, I think both those games are beatable, or are winnable for us. So I'm not saying we're going to win, but I think that there is a possibility we'll win one or the other.
Well, and listen, and I said this Pigskin Pete watching the game. What really lost them the game more than the offense was their defense taking the foot off the gas. Jordan Travis is hurt. His shoulder's still bothering him. And you could tell all game he did not like getting put down on the ground. If they would have kept the pressure up on Jordan Travis, they might have run away with that game in the second half. But for whatever reason, I was told this guy's fine. That's been Brent Venable's right-hand man for years and years and years. He seems a little skittish to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to you about this last week, Slim. There's a real chance. Not predicting it. I'm not saying it's absolutely 100% going to happen. I just went on a whole thing about how you have to play the games first.
Sure.
There's a chance we could be 7-0, 8-0, because, we play Virginia after the Clemson game. 8-0 going into the NC State game. Why not?
There is a chance. I mean, I'm not banking on it because, I've got to see this Miami team get over their own humps. I mean, that was Florida State getting over that Clemson hump. They hadn't beat Florida State, or they hadn't beat Clemson since 2014. North Carolina's beat us 6 out of the last 8. We got our own humps to get over. I want to see them blow out. I want to see them blow out Georgia Tech. When was the last time we blew out Georgia Tech other than last year? That team is always in a game with us for absolutely no reason. I still need to see them handle business against people that, frankly, they hadn't been handling business against. And until I see some of these things, my prediction for the year hasn't changed. I'm still seeing 3 to 4 losses somewhere. You know, Clemson's another one. I mean, it going back to 2015, that the game that got Al Golden fired, they have absolutely beat us like a drum every time we played them.
I don't think it's been within 25 points.
No, it's been
30 or
been
more.
really bad.
Yeah.
I know
So,
Slim and I went and froze our tails off last year at that game.
Oh, that sucked.
I know FSU wants to talk right now, like they're national champions and saying that they own us. Clemson has owned us. Clemson has legit owned us. They have a collar around us. We're walking on all fours, and they have us on a leash.
Yeah, right. I mean, in Florida State, listen, they come into T2Y went live after the Clemson game ended. And like 4 or 5 of them put in the chat, "We want Georgia." Not with the way y'all played.
No,
Y'all need to
Georgia.
stop it.
Oh, my God. I swear, FSU fans are only behind Florida fans for the most insufferable people on the internet. Because at least Florida State had a good year and they're talking smack. Florida was coming into this year with Graham Mertz after a 6 and 7 year talking about, we could be 9 and 3 this year. We could be 8 and 4.
Well, Stephen Law, nobody's saying that we don't lose 2, 3, 4 games this year. But to just automatically chalk up Clemson as a loss, no. Not what I've seen so far this year out of both teams. To automatically chalk up Florida State as a loss, no. I mean, like I had some Florida State fan tell me, just because of the score of last year's game, they're beating us for the next 7 to 10 years guaranteed. And I'm like, do y'all not remember that we beat y'all by literally the same point differential in 2020, and then y'all turned around and beat us in 21? What makes you think that we can't beat Florida State this year? Stop it. Act like you've watched a football game before.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I had us going 8 and 4, and my losses were A&M, Clemson, NC State, and Florida State. But the NC State one for me could have been flipped with the Louisville game. And we could still lose those 3 games. We could still lose to Clemson, Florida State, and Louisville.
Hey, we covered this early on. I mean, has anybody looked more impressive thus far, regardless of competition, other than Louisville in the ACC? And we got to play them.
Yeah, for the.
It's sad to say, but thank God we don't have to play Duke.
Honestly, Duke might be the most impressive.
Maybe. I mean, you can throw them in that conversation as well. I'm not gonna discount what Duke has done at all.
Louisville plays Duke, so that should be a fun game. They play them.
That should be game day. Louisville versus Duke.
Oh my God!
Oh, that would be great.
Imagine saying that last year. Yeah, they play in late October.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet this year with Duke, so
The powerhouse that is Duke football.
the juggernaut. That was funny watching Clemson lose to them, though. That was a good way to start the season.
All right, it was even funnier watching them fumble like 3 times on the goal line.
I know, it was hilarious.
Well, and I saw some people trying to point out, oh, Clemson still got fumble problems. Listen, there's 133 D1 quarterbacks in college football. And there's probably about 130 of them that fumble the ball when they take a lick like that. Like, Cade Cublet got clocked, and he never saw it coming. So, I really can't understand trying to jump on him for fumbling that ball.
This is an interesting comment.
Yeah.
I could kind of see it.
Yeah, I mean, they're
elaborate.
mucking up and winning.
BC beat themselves and Clemson beat themselves. FSU, they could be. FSU really could be 2-2 right now.
That's a very valid argument. Now, at the end of the day, they're not. Kind of like us in 2017. You know, there were a bunch of games that we won by the skin of our teeth, but we won them.
Yeah, and I don't think he's saying really that they're fraudulent. Like, if you win, you win. But still,
Well, Miami wasn't fraudulent in 2017. They were the mirror image of North Carolina. They were a bad offense and a really good defense. So they were half a football team.
I mean, I just think we thought we were a lot better than we really were.
All those turnovers hid the deficiencies on offense.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, stats don't lie, and there were stats out there that pointed it out. Miami was #1 in turnover margin in the country, but they were dead last in points off turnovers.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you actually pay it, like I say this all the time, numbers aren't everything, but they're not nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the 2017 team, we went down to the wire against a bad FSU team, down to the wire against a bad Georgia Tech team. Down to the wire against a terrible North Carolina team, and had to come back against a mediocre Virginia team.
I don't throw FSU into that category because of what we said earlier. It's a rivalry game. I don't care who's up and who's down.
And it was in Tallahassee too.
Yeah, it's just that's regardless of who's bad, who's good. That's a good game. And honestly, I think more Miami fans need to appreciate that, because at least we don't have a Georgia Tech where it's so lopsided that half the fan base doesn't care about it.
Or even a Virginia Tech for a while, because up until 2019, Virginia Tech won 16 straight games against Virginia.
Yeah. Or Clemson and South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina wins one every 10 years.
Are you going to the FSU game, Slim?
No.
No? Okay. For some reason I thought you said you were. But
I don't think I'm going to make it to a game this year, but I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to double up next year because I am going to be in the swamp for the Gators game.
We need to make that happen. Alex and I were talking about that before we went on.
I will.
Hey, T2Y's going too, so we can all get together. And Traveling will know what I'm talking about, but Fish and Football claims to be coming.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hold my breath for that one. I'll hold my breath for that.
It's a Gators fan that likes to play no show on us.
Over and over and over.
We own the
I'm gonna drop a link here real quick for Mark here. Anybody who doesn't know, Mark's got a merchandise store there. I just dropped a link, topqualityshirts.com. There's a whole lot of stuff in there, a lot of cool merchandise, and there's actually a Miami section as well to get some cool Miami at the Voice of College Football gear. So anybody who needs a cool new shirt or wants to support Mark Rogers, feel free to click on that link and check it out. And like I said, there's all kinds of cool stuff in there, so you should check it out. And also feel free to support this show any way possible. It is never expected, but always appreciated. There's Super Chat, and there is PayPal and Venmo and all that other kind of stuff in the description of the video. Thank you very much.
850, I don't know. None of us really know if A.J. Allen was suspended or not, and Mario strikes me as the type that we'll probably never find out.
I mean, he doesn't talk about injuries. I don't know why he would bring that up today about a suspension. If anything, he'd probably bring it up during the weekly presser on Monday or Tuesday or something, if it comes up. But
yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if.
But he won't go into detail for sure.
I'm not sure if anybody's going to bring up the fourth string running back. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but it is
also,
what it is.
Mario Cristobal said Matt Lee is okay and Henry Parrish is okay.
That's good news there.
Yeah, because I know some people were wondering.
Yeah, I would have hated to see, they both went down one right after the other. And at that point, everybody's in everybody's mind was sitting there maybe we should take the starters out. Maybe we, we're way up on. And then right then, boom, boom, two people get hurt. It's oh my God, please no.
No, I literally was sitting right in this chair and I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Well, what else can we cover at this point?
I love this. I love this comment. Oh, and I can vouch for that. Slim's a whole lot of fun to sit back there and toss one with. I guarantee that.
Yeah, and hey, listen, just be glad I'm here, because I started at halftime of the Clemson game. I had to run to the dump. That's all the driving I had to do today. I was like, well, I'm like a little day drinking.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially when you win. These post-game shows are so much more fun when we win.
We are a third of the way to 12-0. Just remember that.
Yeah, we're a third of the way. Hey, listen, you talk about, I mean, I have a great time on here after we lose, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny.
I like the people who get mad at us for not crying.
Yeah, right? It's like they come on here 9 kinds of pissed because we just lost a game, and me and you are upbeat, smiling, and laughing, and they get mad at us.
Look, I didn't drop the ball. Wasn't my fault.
I mean, last time I really, really got pissed after a loss was the Middle Tennessee game. All the other games I was just more sad.
Is that the one where you were like riding? No, that wasn't the one where you were riding home screaming in the car. No.
Middle Tennessee, yeah. I was
riding. Okay, yeah.
The car.
Yeah, you're in the car screaming. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh man.
Well, I've got you. Well, I'm not going to say I don't have interesting stories, but I'm none that I can share on the Mark Rogers YouTube channel.
Yeah, you'll have to come over to one of my like late night streams to get those stories. So we keep it PG-13 here.
Oh yeah, we keep it good over here. Hey, listen. Well, Terry, you're right. Listen, that I didn't realize the depths of it until a couple of years ago. You know, I own my truck. I own my house. I got 3 kids. I never felt such a level of accomplishment until I found out that there were whole Florida Gators message boards dedicated to how much they can't stand me. Okay? Just because like the whole off season of 2019 going into that game. By the way, Gators fans, it's coming again. But I rode Gators fans all that off season, just like I'm going to do this coming up off season.
Start now. Why not now?
See, I don't have I got to go back to all my notes. So that's the thing. People have been trying to figure it out for years, and this is why I have, and Traveling Fools knows about this, I have my own, since YouTube is full of such piss poor trolls, I have my own troll academy where I will teach people how to become a better troll on the internet. Scholarship opportunities available. But I'll give you one little nugget for free. It doesn't matter your team's record if you have enough information about the team of the person you're arguing with. It's like Georgia fans can. I heard from all of them about losing that Middle Tennessee State game. Okay, but I'm not taking that kind of lip from a team that can't beat Holy Cross ever.
Oh dang! Yeah, there's a lot of really horrible trolls on the internet.
There really are, and there used to be better. I come from the.
This country used to stand for something.
I come from the Modern Warfare 2 online lobbies. Okay, you don't get no worse than that.
That's where I became a man at 6 years old.
And
Slim's still got the same headset.
Yeah, this is hey, and it's
different trucker hat.
It's still better than TriStar's brand new one. Poor fellow.
Oh, poor TriStar.
He disappeared too, and that's something else you can't do either. Like if you're gonna be a good troll, you got to show up on the internet after your team loses. You can't disappear.
Oh, hold on. It's true what he's saying here. UAB is tied with Georgia at the start of the second quarter, 7-7.
Oh, really?
Georgia's been doing this. Georgia's been doing this all year though, where it's like sloppy in the start and then they just massacre you in the second half.
Some of these games are more than sloppy at the start, though. Like UT Martin, which is like an hour and a half from me, by the way. Great party school. Bunch of farmers doing nothing but partying up there. But the first half of that UT Martin game, Georgia's offensive line was getting manhandled by UT Martin's D line.
Well, at least we get to see Lou bitching and moaning at halftime, so there's that.
Yeah, you got that going for you. I don't know if any of you guys are watching this Ohio State Notre Dame game though. It's one hell of a defensive battle here. It's still 0-0 with 6 minutes left in the second.
It's gonna be like last year where the final score was 21-10 or some
right.
BS like
at
that.
present, I'm not watching anything because, well, the 3 kids I mentioned are running around screaming inside, so I came outside to do this.
Yeah, that is a beautiful sunset behind you, Slim. I almost want to like take this and crop this out because it's.
I know, right? That's why I
Slim,
came
can
out
you just
here.
move for a second?
Yeah, if you just get out of the way, we can see the sunset. But you do look like you should have like some little, dog ears or something on that picture right there, and it'd be like Instagram worthy.
Yeah, right.
Nice
Yeah,
little
well,
caption.
hey.
Just me in the sunset, right where I want to be.
Miami won, beautiful sunset,
And you know
Get
what?
your-
I probably got a better view than anybody in Miami because I love the Hurricanes. It's a great city. I got nice and peace and quiet with 500 acres of corn across the street from me.
Slim, there's nothing more I would love to do right now than to give you a Zima. Oh, geez.
That's almost as bad as those people that drink those White Claws.
Oh yeah, that's the new one. That's the Zima of the millennials, White Claw.
I just want to say I'm not proud of my generation and what they've done.
Well, I mean, technically, I'm a millennial. I was born in '88, but I've been accused of having an old soul.
Those what are they called? White Claws. My cousin, she came up not too long ago, and she brought a bunch of those. And they have been, well, I say not too long ago, about a year ago, and they've been in the fridge here in my bar for a year. I drank one of them. It was horrible. I was like the worst thing I ever
There's
drank.
a bunch of different ones. There's also like High Noon, which is another crappy seltzer. There's
Yeah. No thanks.
What's the other one from like the Nelk Boys? There's like Happy Dad. They're just all terrible.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that.
I
No,
just have-
thank you.
I just have a Coors Light or a Corona.
There you go.
That's it.
Speaking of, it's about that time.
It is about that time.
Yeah, does anybody else got any enlightening information about this great matchup against Temple?
No, me and Slim usually cut it short once we get to talking about beer and early 2000s college football. So,
White
we're
Claw
good.
and it's like
I mean, hey, listen, I can go back to talking about mid-'70s college football. I like talking about the history of college football, but not sure if that's that. I think Mark Rogers saves that for his History Channel special.
Slim, who was the runner-up in the 1947 Heisman race?
Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't know.
Mark
Probably-
pops in and answers it.
Probably somebody from Army, if I had to guess.
You know what?
Either Army or Notre Dame.
I'm already here. 1947 Heisman voting.
Well, 47. Yeah, it would have been right after.
It was Bob Chapuis from Michigan. John Lujack
Okay.
from Notre Dame won it.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
workforce. I don't know what happened to Temple's famous running attack. Boy, it sure didn't seem to work too well.
something else, and I don't take this the wrong way. Once again, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but at least we don't have to hear any more about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy because it's not happening. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen.
Sanders.
Listen, Travis Hunter wasn't going to win it anyway because I'm convinced at this point that if Devin Hester can't win it playing three-way football, Travis Hunter ain't going to win it either. I hate it for you. And I think, listen, if he had balled out at both positions all season, I would actually say he had deserved it, to be honest with you. But I've kind of lost all faith in the Heisman Trophy, and I'm tired of hearing about Colorado. I'm tired of seeing Deion on every commercial.
Yeah, when does he get the time to film these?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, between Aflac, KFC, and Geico.
I feel like there's more. We're missing some.
Alex, did you see that thing I reposted or retweeted or whatever that guy impersonating Deion talking to Nick Saban?
No.
Yeah, okay. When we get off of here, go on to Twitter, and I like quote tweeted it or something. It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, the guy sounds just like Deion and just like Nick Saban. He's doing like a phone call from Deion to Nick Saban. It's gold. It's hilarious. You'll love it.
It reminds me of like those AI things where it's like Donald Trump and Joe Biden playing Modern Warfare 2, and they're just shit talking each other.
Right. Yeah, those are hilarious too.
I've seen some of those, man. Some of this AI stuff is actually pretty funny. Okay,
It's scary, but it's it's funny.
We're talking about AI now. Mark's gonna get mad at us.
All right, yeah, sorry about that,
camping
Mark.
in the corner, you fucking pussy.
Yeah, we're only allowed to talk football and Elvis here on the Mark Rogers.
Yeah. Oh
channel,
yeah.
so.
Well, why not? I mean, since Elvis is hanging out on an island with Tupac, can we talk about Tupac too?
No, they're in Cuba.
Well, Cuba's an island. Hey,
Island. That's
See,
where
we
Elvis
got
and
you.
Tupac. There we go.
I mean,
All
come
right.
on, with a last name like yours, you should know that, Alex.
I'm literally Cuban too.
I know.
Literally Cuban.
That's why I said it.
I've been there.
too funny.
All right, whatever. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, we ready to get out of here?
Yeah, we're done talking about Tupac.
All right, cool. Well,